In this video, I'll show you how to sharpen a serrated bread knife so it slices like new. My bread knife has seen a lot of action and cutting my sourdough takes that little bit longer. I use a Nihon X50, which has a German stainless steel blade and a Japanese inspired handle. Because this knife is serrated, you sharpen it differently from a straight blade. For serrated knives, you use a sharpening steel that fits inside the serrations on the knife itself. Unlike honing a straight knife, by doing this you actually reshape the cutting edge. Today I'm using a carbon steel sharpening steel. I'll link this one in the description, but any sharpening steel that fits the serrations will work. If your bread knife is in a bad way, I'd recommend a diamond coated sharpening steel instead, which would take off more material. You can find out if your knife is blunt by shining a light on it, but to be honest, if you're not worried about cutting yourself, or it takes a lot of effort to cut bread, then it probably needs sharpened. A sharpening steel follows the angle of the serrations to sharpen the cutting edge. Most sharpening steels will suit most knives, unless the knife is particularly large or small. Check the diameter of the sharpening steel, and if you need to, the width of the serration on the knife that it sits into. I find it easier to hold the sharpening steel in the dominant hand and the knife in the less dominant hand. With the sharpening steel at the same angle as the serration on the knife, move the sharpening steel up and down. Start with around 10 times back and forward, and you can always go back over it. This can take a little bit of time, but once you've done it a few times it'll be pretty easy. Once you've sharpened all the serrations, if you turn the knife over, you should see plenty of filings along the cutting edge where you've just sharpened. This will show you that you've taken some material off when you've sharpened the cutting edge. If there's no material on the back of the knife, you probably haven't taken away any of the edge when you've been sharpening. Keep the sharpening steel as flat as possible and move the knife along the sharpening steel at a slight angle. So the ragged edge is taken off. This is a magnetic steel, but you can clean the excess filings off with a cloth. And that's it sharpened. Back to chopping up sourdough. But watch your fingers out there, and check out a decent sourdough recipe linked here.